Good evening. My name is Jada Campbell and I will be your interviewer for the day. Please state your name and your professional occupation.
Hello, my name is Celeste Smith, and I am an international teacher.
All right. Now, let's proceed to our questions. Before moving here to Atlanta, Georgia, where did you previously teach?
Previously, I was interning at a company called The Learning Tree in Montgomery, and there I was teaching kids that had autism. So I was I was training to become a registered behavior technician. So after I interned with The Learning Tree, I ended up I was seeking another job, and that job kind of sort of found me. So I put in an application for the company is called Education First, which is EF for short. So I put in an application for EF, and they just emailed me and told me they were interested in me, and I was like, okay, well, this is kind of crazy, but I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens. So I went for it, and boom, I ended up in China.
Great. Considering the gradual spread of the coronavirus in the United States and even in the state of Georgia, how does that make you feel? And did the virus, is that what influenced you to move back to Georgia?
In the beginning, when I found out about the virus, it was around October. So I know China, they kind of downplayed the virus. They made it seem as if it's like any other cold or flu. They was warning us about keeping our hygiene in check and washing our hands. So when I heard about it, I didn't think anything about it. But when we went on vacation for the Spring Festival in China, which was around February, I decided to go to San Francisco. So when I went to San Francisco, everything just hit the fan. It seems as if that's when it really became public to not just in China, but also in other countries as well, that they knew about the virus. So at that time, I wasn't really scared, but when I went back to China towards the beginning of February, it was still the first week when I went back, I got scared a little, because that's when I started getting alerts from the government that was stating that they're going to shut down the airports, and people were going to be quarantined, and some people were stuck on ships. So I didn't want to be stuck in China, so I decided to go back home to Georgia and just kind of just wait it out to see what happens.
Right. And learning that even in Georgia, some cases of the coronavirus have been found, how does that make you feel?
Right now I'm kind of feeling like as if I did when I first heard about it. So when I first heard about it in October, I just was like, it's like another thing. But since it's made its way over here, I feel as if this is just the beginning stages of in USA. Since they known about it for quite a while, maybe they can probably get this in control. So if the numbers start growing for United States as it did in China, then I will start getting worried. But right now I'm not too worried, especially since it's about to be summer's about to come soon, so it gets hot. So usually that's when viruses and the flu tend to stop spreading, and kind of slows down. People stop getting sick around that time.
Interesting. So how has moving affected you, and what are your plans for the near future?
It has affected me a lot. So right now, since I'm not in China teaching, I'm teaching online. So I'm with the company still, but I still have to be on their time, which is kind of weird and kind of hard. Not too hard. I just have to be mindful of the time. So that's the easy part, but not knowing when I will be able to return back, that's kind of up in the air, and I'm kind of lost on that. So I'm not sure exactly when I will be back. I was planning on going back, and my first plan was to go back in March, but then the numbers is still growing in China, so I decided maybe in April. But then my family got concerned that if I go back and I come back to the United States, I will have to be quarantined for 14 days. I will have to be quarantined there in China for 14 days, and I'll have to be quarantined again for another 14 days if I come back to the States. So my family is now telling me, if I go back, who you gonna stay with? Because most people don't want to be around a person that's been around the virus, or they don't want to have to sit in the house alone with the person to be quarantined. So
Right.
it's kind of hard to know where my life is going to take me in the future, but I know that I'm going to stay with the company until my contract is up.
Right.
So
That's good. That's good. Has the case of the virus affected any changes in your daily routine?
yes, I'm washing my hands more often. I see the coronavirus and all over the news. It seems like that's the talk of the town. Most people tend, when I tell them that I came from China, they automatically think that, oh, you must have the virus. And I'm like, no, I don't have the virus. Actually, the virus happened in Wuhan, which I was in Beijing. So Wuhan from Beijing, it's like, I would say like maybe an hour or two away from each other.
Right.
So in Beijing, the number of cases that they've seen, a lot of people have the virus, like maybe in the thousands. But as far as like deaths, it's only been 2 deaths in Beijing that I know of. So that's pretty low. So the chances of, I feel like the chances of me getting the virus is pretty slim because I'm a young, healthy woman. I take care of myself. But people tend to look at me weird when I tell them I came from China and I'm thinking about going back. I do want to go back, but it's kind of hard to know where I'm going to stay after I come back.
Okay. Has the virus made you consider life differently?
Yes and no. I say yes because when I heard about the virus, I heard that it started in Wuhan in this laboratory and it was man-made. So when I found out that they were making viruses, I'm like, why are they making viruses over there? And then an outbreak just so happened to happen in the area where the laboratory is. So it just makes me think that this is all kind of controlled in a way. I hate to say that, but it just makes me think that way. And so now they're trying to figure out how they're going to control it, but I know it takes at least a year or 2 just for a vaccine to be made. So this is kind of it concerns me. It doesn't really bother me too much because it's just like any other virus, really. When you catch it, you're gonna feel the same symptoms as you would catching any other flu. You're gonna have congestion. Well, except with this one, you're not gonna have congestion. Your nose, if your nose is running, it's something different. But with this one, if you're coughing with no congestion, that's one of the signs. You have pressure in your chest, that's a sign. If you are weak and you have low energy, I know that's another sign. So I know the signs of this new type of virus. So I'm being cautious of my health, but I'm also thinking that I can overcome this, which is what everybody should be mindful of, that you can overcome this if you just be healthy.
Right. So as an instructor, how important is education to you on a general level?
It's very important to me because this is dealing with my field, my career. Overall, what I want to do is be a behavior analyst, which involves teaching. So this is like a stepping stone for me, teaching as an international teacher. So that's why it's important to me.
What inspired you to teach in the first place?
What inspired me to teach with EF was because it was an opportunity. So when I was after I got done with my internship, I really wanted to find a job in the field of teaching. So when they offered me a job, I was like, hey, why not? I get to travel and I get to teach. I get to get experience. So why I want to teach is I just want to help kids. I love kids. So that's why I want to teach, because I like kids.
Okay. How do you feel about America? If you ever have to begin with, do you still consider it a safe place?
Yeah, I still consider it a safe place to a certain extent. But as far as the virus, I know that the World Health Organization is doing everything they can to make a vaccine for this. And there are other people as well. They're trying to put the word out there. There's so many flyers I've seen so far, so many articles about the coronavirus, letting people know what it is and how they can be safe. So with seeing all that and seeing how America is trying to do something about it now, I feel kind of safe knowing that we're going to be okay.
Okay, that is good. Considering you would be willing to return to China, is that somewhere that you've always wanted to teach when you were younger and thought about teaching?
No, I never thought that this, what I'm doing now, teaching in China, would ever happen to me. Teaching international, I never thought that would be a path that the Lord would take me. So I kind of always figured that I will be here in the United States teaching, but this is something different and new. Would I do it again? Probably not. Not now, at least, because it's a lot going on, and I don't think I should return probably just yet. But as far as teaching, I will continue doing that. I actually like teaching online, so I might consider looking into that in the future.
All right. If you could choose where you would prefer to teach, where would you teach and why?
Oh my, that's a good question. Well, since I've done international, I think I would like to go to South Korea, maybe Japan, just so I can see what the country is like. I always wanted to go to Japan and South Korea, so I would want to teach there. Not now, but maybe in the future.
All right. Well, thank you again for taking the time to meet. Until next time.